There we go.
Yeah, but we can see the attendees coming in.
So you'll see people coming in now in the attendees box. And that usually takes some time, right? People need to step in and sometimes download the software. So I will leave you, Karina and Simon, to it. Turn my camera off. And then you can start the session officially in 1 minute. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Just we'll wait a couple of minutes for people to join the session. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. You are all muted, and that will remain like that, but we'll give it a couple of more moments before we start the session. Let's give everybody the chance to log in. Maybe they need to install the GoToWebinar. If you're facing any problems or you cannot hear me or there's something with the audio, there's a question box where you can leave a comment and we'll try to help you. I think it's safe to say that we can start with the session. So welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining. My name is Karina Bregeman and I will be hosting this session together with Simon Frankish. Before we dive into today's sessions, I wanted to bring a couple of points to your attention, and this is about the GoToWebinar platform that we are using for this webinar. So you're all muted. You cannot unmute yourself. So if you have any comments, there's a question area in the panel of GoToWebinar. And the questions can be related to any technical problems you're having or about the topic of today. And in the end, we'll have some time reserved to answer them. Or if needed, we can follow up on those on a different moment. Okay, then I'm safe to say that we can start with today's topic. So we have 20 minutes for today's session, and we'll be doing a quick introduction. We'll discuss the TMMi model. As we also said, we'll have a link to a survey that will give you some handouts for the later for you to follow up, and the time that we have for the Q&A. Off my camera right now so that the screen will improve. So bear with me. Okay. So Parasoft. Like I said, my name is Carina and I work here at Parasoft already for 8 years. And I do this from our office in the Netherlands, supporting our customers and representing Parasoft for the EMEA region. So Parasoft was founded 37 years ago, building solutions on a foundation of innovation with over more than 38 patents. Parasoft has been leading the industry in automated software testing and continuous quality solutions. With offices distributed across the Americas, Europe, and Asia, we empower companies around the globe. From development to QA, our software testing solutions reduce the time and effort and cost of delivering secure, reliable, and compliant software. With a strong focus on customer success, we can say that customers shape our product roadmaps and research as we evolve and scale together. Working together with Experimentus has been very refreshing. With their expertise in applying the TMMi model, we have seen how customers benefit from this approach, giving them insight on the current situation and providing them with action plans to get to the preferred situation. And this is also part of why we included the survey in this session, is that it really helps you to give you insights on what the current situation is and what quick action plan you can develop according to that outcome of the survey. And one of the things that we have found is the more people inside your organization do the survey, the accurate the information is. And as a solution provider, as Parasoft developing tools, we have seen that that we are involved in the projects around test environments. And we see that the customers have more benefit with keeping the measurement alive and seeing what the benefits are of working with a tool like surface virtualization. Simon, I'm going to hand it over to you so that you can continue and start with the introduction.
Okay, thank you, Carina.
I'm going to change presenter and 1 and 2 and I'm clicking yes, and now you can take over.
Okay, thank you, Carina. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Simon Frankish. I'm the Process Improvement Practice Manager here at Experimentus. We've partnered with Parasoft for some time now, and organisations like Parasoft who kind of share our love of quality, our passion for making testing better, are excellent for us to work with, particularly for us with their undoubted expertise around test environments and service virtualization. It's a great fit, and we really enjoy working with organisations like Parasoft. A little bit about Experimentus. We're a software process improvement consultancy who help our clients to improve their test performance, largely through assessing what they currently do, the visualization of what they're currently doing, and then importantly going on that transformation journey with them. We also help clients manage their test activities, and we provide a number of training courses in TMMi and ISTQB and other things, which help people to empower their employees to do better testing. Some of the services we provide very quickly: test process improvement, obviously basically using TMMi wherever possible. We do have some test environment management services, which, you know, in our partnership with Parasoft is also very important to us. We have a TMMi level 5 compliant test methodology, which we can bring to bear for people, and we provide test management services for clients as well. Training is an important part of what we do. As I said, it's important to skill people appropriately. Just a little bit about TMMi, what TMMi actually is, and how we can use it to help people. So TMMi is a test process improvement framework. It allows us to assess organisations in a consistent manner. As you can see from the screen, it's organised into maturity levels, and each of those maturity level contains process areas. If you look at the left-hand diagram, you can see, for example, there's test planning, test design and execution as examples in level 2. Each of those process areas in turn is further broken down into what are called goals and practices. And what this means effectively is that we can identify process improvements at a very detailed level in a very consistent manner across all organisations. TMMi itself, it's not owned by us, it's a not-for-profit foundation, owns and maintains TMMi, and it was instituted approximately 19 years ago, and Experimentus started using it very soon after that. We enjoy working with TMMi. We like the fact that it's an independent model, and it addresses all test levels and all development methodologies. We particularly like the fact that it's really based on real world experiences. So it's not an academic model. It's absolutely based on real world experiences, and it's really pragmatic because of that. It's now, I think, generally perceived as the de facto international standard against which to measure test maturity. Just a quick example of how we take clients on their process improvement journey. At number 1 on the left hand side at the top there, organizations kind of identify a reason to improve their test processes. So it could be a specific quality issue, too many defects getting into production, for example. It could be driven by the test team itself, or it could be a reaction to new ways of working within testing. We would typically then be engaged at number 2 on there, and we would help the organisation to carry out an assessment using TMMi, of course, to generate a gap analysis report, which would include high-level recommendations for improvement and ultimately a detailed process improvement plan. At number 3, this is reviewed, and just the TMMi report and the process improvement plan are reviewed and would be improved by the organisation's management team in order to provide funding and sponsorship for the improvements. At number 5, we'd work with the organisation to fully define any new processes, usually with a number of small teams working on individual changes, overseen by a steering group to coordinate progress, and we'd go in there and carry out what we'd call health checks to ensure that what's being implemented is actually attaining what we the objectives that we set out in the report and process improvement plan. So that's just to ensure that TMMi compliance is maintained while the changes are being implemented. Finally, implementation takes place, and the improvement benefits are measured using appropriate metrics. Ultimately, what we see is that the organisation achieves more effective and efficient processes based on their chosen TMMi maturity level. They get an appreciation of the value of testing and the value of test process improvement. And if required, and it's entirely optional, we can certify organisations to their chosen TMMi maturity level. Just a few metrics from just to demonstrate the growth of TMMi at the moment. So all the top 2 graphics come from a worldwide report that the TMMi Foundation put together, and that was done late last year, I believe, where they went out and spoke to all organisations that had used TMMi and understood what was going on. So we see the number of formal TMMi assessments has been growing year on year. There was a slight dip in 2018, but it's been a steady rise ever since then, and that's really good to see. And we can see the geographical spread of TMMi, so it's truly a global standard. There is a lot in Asia, which is largely driven by the Chinese market at the moment, but also a lot in Europe. And we're seeing increasing use in the Middle East and in North America. Actually, there's a lot in Mexico. The bottom 2 are a couple of LinkedIn posts from Eric van Veenendaal, who's recently stepped down as the CEO of the TMMi Foundation, but is still heavily involved, just to show that more recently growth is still continuing. So we've got a record number of TMMi assessments in 2024 Q1, and the TMMi professional training has had a record number of exams in 2023. So there's an awful lot going on with TMMi. It's still growing. It's still being picked up by many people.
Yeah. And Simon, can I ask you one thing about the growth and the trend that we see here in Europe? And that's because, like you said, a lot of exams are being taken, so the organizations are really taking the action of in your journey in the roadmap. And you see that training is also very important.
Yeah, absolutely, Karina. We have a number of people coming to us for the TMMi professional training, which is the foundation level training in TMMi. And what organisations and individuals like to do is gain an understanding of TMMi, so that when they start on that process improvement journey, they're not coming at it cold. They've already got an understanding of what TMMi looks like. They've already got an understanding of the requirements of TMMi, and it really helps organisations to move forwards if they get seeded individuals in their organisation that are knowledgeable around TMMi.
So you would say that's one of the key things to having a successful implementation or starting this journey and being as successful as possible.
Yeah, it really helps to have people within the organisation that understand it. Obviously, if you're going through any change process, having people actually in your organisation that are supportive of it and understand it is far better than having just purely external consultants looking at it.
Exactly. Yeah, because you want to leave them behind and make sure that they can continue the growth and the path that they are on.
Yeah, it's always our intention to leave a lasting benefits for our clients, and if they've got people in house that are trained, that's far more likely to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the other things that they reported on was they asked all organisations that had used TMMi to actually report on benefits that they had actually experienced in the real world. And what we see here is that there was a high majority of organisations reported enhanced product quality, which is excellent. Obviously, a lot spoke about having enhanced test efficiency and better business alignment. You'll see also a very strong finding there around process compliance, and we think that's largely due to TMMi's structured approach and promotion of consistency in testing. The grouped benefits are what I'm talking about there. Obviously, if you look at the left-hand side, that there's some individual benefits as well, and you'll see that certification is also there. So certification is optional. Many people use TMMi purely to improve their test process improvement. This is a process improvement framework, after all. But the certification can be important to some organisations, both for internal and external marketing, and as a way of improving the visibility and morale of testing within any organisation. Just quickly, finally from me, just a few more resources, and I think we'll get the links to these put in the chat in a moment if it's not already there. Firstly, you can visit our website. There's a dedicated TMMi page, which has some free videos you can watch, introduction to TMMi, benefits of TMMi, amongst other things, and a lot of information about what TMMi is and does, far more than we can give in this 20-minute webinar. Secondly, I mentioned the worldwide user survey that the TMMi Foundation put out, and that there'll be a link to that as well in the chat. It's got a lot more information again than we've shared today. There's some really interesting stuff in there about benefits, about why people are picking up TMMi, etc. It's definitely worth a look, and seeing what real people who are actually using TMMi are saying about it, because that's got to be the best way of assessing anything. The training one in the top right, again, we've spoken a little bit about training. The training is important. We offer the TMMi professional course. There's also a TMMi assessor course, which is the next step after that. And you can see a lot more detail about that on our website at that link. Finally, there is, as mentioned, the survey. So it's a free survey. It should take you 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to complete, no more than that, certainly. It basically asks you the questions around each goal within the TMMi framework and provides you with an indicative rating at the end. Interestingly, because we've been running that for quite a long time now, we've got a lot of data behind it, and we also provide if you put in your industry sector, we will provide you with an average for that industry sector, and you can see how you compare to your industry sector, which can be really interesting. Thank you. Questions and answer session. There's the QR code there takes you to our survey. So if you want to do that whenever you're ready, you most certainly
share
can.
it with your colleagues. I think the more people take it in your department, the accurate the results are, right? That's going to be the most value to you.
Absolutely, yeah. It's worth getting a few people to fill it in, and then you can do a compare and contrast. Interestingly, when people, if we get a number of people filling in the survey from the same organisation, you can get differences of opinion, which is always interesting, and that maybe indicates inconsistencies. It could indicate just different perceptions of quality within the organisation. But it's always good to get a few people to take it so that you can do that comparison exercise.
Okay. I think we are on the hour, but let's try to answer one of the questions. I see here one coming in. What would you say that is the biggest challenge in your experience when, you try to, the customers, let me see what they say. What is the challenge when they are improving the test process?
Okay, so typically we see a number of challenges when we're looking at improving test process. I suppose one of the biggest challenges for us is gaining buy-in, both from management and from the people who are going to be affected by the change. Which is why I made the point about making sure people in the organisation are driving it and involved in it, because that's how you gain the buy-in. So that's often a big challenge. I think another huge challenge we often face is actually getting people away from their day job to help with test process improvement. So process improvement, is often seen as something that can be done, at the end of the day or off the side of your desk. It needs to be, it really needs to be tackled as a project in its own right, and getting people's time and attention to do that, when they're perhaps firefighting issues elsewhere, it can be really difficult.
So it's very important when you start such an initiative, you have to have the outside consultant that is driving this initiative and forcing the teams to make time, and then by the time then they get it in their system, and then it becomes part of the normal day of work that they can then do it themselves.
That really helps. Absolutely, really helps. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, the questions that we have, we can follow on by person. We have the contact details, so if there's anything else, we can come back, and we'll follow up by sending this presentation to you for you to rewatch it, and you will have the links for the follow-ups. Simon, I want to thank you very much for taking the time and doing this together with us. As you know, we are also very excited about this model, helping our customers benefit from the tools, obviously, but also making sure that this is part of their daily work, and helping them gain their goals or get to their goals. So thank you so much, and we'll thank everybody else for their attention for today.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure talking to you all. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you potentially learned something. Just checking the names that turned up. Hi Arda, hi Bogdan. Good to see you, and Feda and Jack. Yeah, good to see some familiar names there. So thank you everybody else as well. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the recording when you get it.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Karina, I
Yeah.
saw that there was one question coming in. Oh no, that's just a thank you so much from Arda. Nothing.
Thanks, Arda.
Okay, we'll end this session now. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you all.
care. Have a
Bye.
great day.